Hi, welcome to chemistry. My name is Lara D and I'll be your instructor this year. Let's begin by going over the syllabus. My contact information can be found at the top. I have two email addresses. One is the Viking domain and the other is the Lotus Notes. My preferred means of communication is by email because I check that frequently throughout the day. My phone number is 313-5591 and my room number is C205. Below that, you can find the course descriptions, and also we have our standards and benchmarks. So let's briefly go over the standards. Standard 1 is scientific investigation. Number 2 is nature of science. Number 3 is properties of matter. Standard 4 is atomic structure and bonding. 5 is chemical reactions. Standard 6 is chemical thermodynamics. 7 is chemical reaction rates. Standard 8 is nuclear reactions and energy. We also have our general learner outcomes, GLO. GLO number 1, I am a self-directed learner. Number 2, I am a community contributor. Number 3, I am a complex and critical thinker. Number 4, I am a quality producer. Number 5, I am an effective communicator. And GLO number 6 is I am an effective and ethical user of technology. For our general chemistry class, Chemistry Y, we have our textbook is called Chemistry by Packer, Jacobs, and Marshall, 2007. It has a brown cover. And for our College Prep Chemistry X class, our textbook is Wilbraham's, Daly, Mata, and Waterman, 2008, also by the title of Chemistry. And that has a reddish-orange cover with a lot of other colors thrown in there. It's like a rainbow. Classroom supplies. For the general classroom, I'm asking for a donation of 3 rolls of paper towels, and for the Y class, 2 rolls of paper towels and 1 box of facial tissues. And that's just to be shared among the general population when we have need of them. I also ask that you bring on a daily basis to class with you 1 College Rules composition notebook, 1 scientific calculator, 1 glue stick, at least 5 sheets of College Rules binder paper, a pencil, a high polymer eraser, 1 word correction pen, and whiteout. Grades. This is very important to a lot of you, I know, so listen up. So grades are along the following scales. 90 to 100% is an A, 80 to 89% is a B, 70 to 79% is a C, 60 to 69% is a D, 59% and below is considered an F. Grades are based on all of the assignments throughout the school year. So I do grade on homework, classwork, labs, quizzes, activities, projects, everything that we do throughout. I do have a no late homework policy. This applies to unexcused absences and tardies. So make sure you keep up with your homework even though you're not in class. And you can do that by following your grading assignments on Infinite Campus. General classroom responsibilities. Students are to follow the Hill High School rules, code of conduct, discipline plan, tardy policy, attendance policy, and just anybody, teachers, staff, so on. I expect you to be in your class seat before the bell rings with your supplies and workout ready to begin the period. I expect you to come to class with all the necessary materials, meaning your specified subjects. I ask that you listen attentively and ask meaningful questions. And it is very important that we respect ourselves and others in the classroom. So that means respecting other people's personal property and their spaces. And we do not interfere with the learning of others. So we take turns and we polite to each other. When you disregard the rules, there are consequences. First violation is just a warning. It can be visual, verbal, or written. Second violation is going to be involving recess detention, which is just 5 minutes. So I ask that you give up 5 minutes of your time and I have a simple task for you, or I have you do your homework. Third violation, 10 minutes of recess detention. Fourth violation involves parent notification and you get a code of conduct referral. Fifth violation and further, parental notification is required, and you also receive a written incident referral to admin. Classroom leave. Whenever you have to use the restroom, run a personal errand, or leave for any non-emergency reason, you have to sign out on my clipboard, and you also have to take the hall pass with you. My clipboard can be located at the exit on this side of the room, and it's right on top of the podium. I have a sign-up sheet. You're allowed up to 5 classroom breaks per quarter. Any more and your grade is going to be decreased by 1 letter grade during that quarter. So if you have a medical condition, or you have a behavior plan that allows you to leave the classroom, then of course I will let you go whenever you need to go. You're not limited to the 5 breaks. Moving on to copying and cheating. Copying and cheating will not be tolerated in my class or in the school. If you are caught, you're going to receive 0 points for the assignment, and you also may receive a written referral. I want to remind you that copying and cheating also includes plagiarism, which is using someone else's work and claiming it as your own. It's very tempting and easy to do, but don't do it. It's not worth the consequences. I also mentioned Infinite Campus earlier when we were talking about the grades. I want to remind you again that I will not be calling home regularly whenever your students' grades drop. A phone call home is considered a courtesy and not a requirement by myself. I do want to encourage parents to keep up on monitoring their students' grades, and students, I do want to encourage you to check daily if possible. Now, if you don't have internet at home, or if you don't have a smartphone or electronic device that allows you to check grades at home, then please let me know as soon as possible, and I do have alternative means of grade communication. I do expect you to read over the syllabus. I have it posted online. I do expect you to fill out the associated form electronically and submit that form. I want to remind you that students, you need to sign in with your Viking Gmail account. Otherwise, you will not be able to turn in that form electronically. If you need a hard copy paper version of the syllabus, please let me know. I will provide you with it. Thank you for sitting in with me while you review the classroom syllabus. And let's move on to the lab safety contract. Hi, let's begin going over the lab safety contract for chemistry. Number 1, conduct yourself in a responsible manner at all times. Number 2, follow all written and verbal instructions carefully. Number 3, do not touch any equipment, supplies, or other materials in the science room without permission from the instructor. Number 4, perform only authorized and approved of experiments. Number 5, never eat, drink, chew gum, or taste anything in the lab. Number 6, keep hands away from face, eyes, and mouth while you're handling chemicals and substances. You do not want residue transfer. Number 7, wear your safety goggles whenever instructed. Also, never remove your safety goggles while performing an experiment. Number 8, keep your work area and science classroom area neat and clean. Number 9, clean all workstation areas and equipment at the end of the experiment. That also involves putting things away. Clean supplies away where they belong. Number 10, follow the instructor's instructions to dispose of any waste materials that is generated during the experiment. Number 11, report any accident to the instructor immediately. Don't be ashamed and scared to report if something is broken or spilled. Please let me know as soon as possible. Number 12, you should consider all chemicals used in the classroom to be dangerous. Whether or not you know what that chemical is, always treat it cautiously and with respect. Number 13, never open storage cabinets or enter the storage room area without permission. Number Number 14, handle all glassware with care. And I want to remind you that hot and cold glass looks the same, so be careful. Number 15, use extreme caution whenever you use an open flame or a hot plate. Number 16, you need to dress properly. We wear personal protective equipment, also known as PPE, in the class and lab. So that involves things like tying your hair up, wearing clothes that is not too loose fitting, rolling your sleeves up. You need to have long pants and covered shoes. You also need to make sure that you don't have loose and dangling jewelry. You have to wear a lab apron when necessary, gloves when necessary, and a lab chemical splash goggles. And the last one is number 17. Learn where the safety equipment is located. We went over the lab safety contract. I want to remind you again that similar to the syllabus, you need to fill out the Google form online, electronically, and submit that you've read and agreed to it. Let's move on by conducting a quick classroom tour of some of the safety features that I found in the C205 classroom. So this is one of the two classroom exits. If there is a fire drill, I expect this half of the classroom to exit through this door and the other half of the classroom to exit through the adjacent door. Last person out, make sure you close the door. It will automatically lock. Here we have our fire extinguisher and our fire alarm pole. For whatever reason, if there's an emergency, they're located at the door nearest the stairwell. Moving along, I have my classroom teacher area. Please stay out of the corner. Thank you, I appreciate that. We have our fume hood. It slides up like this. You perform your experiments in here. There's a light and vacuum section. So all of the fumes get sucked up directly into the filter and we don't have to breathe those dangerous substances in. The refrigerator and freezer is off limits to students. We use that to store chemicals and for ice for our lab purposes. The chemical storage room is off limits to all students. You should not have any reason to go in there ever. If there's anything that needs to be taken out of there, I will do it. Next to the podium, I should say rather inside of the podium, we have the box with gloves for classroom experiments. I have a regular dustpan. I also have the broken glass dustpan and the broken glass bin. The microwave is available for use. We don't really use it too much for labs except for heating up water, but I do require that permission be granted first. We have our electronic water distiller. So distilled water is created by heating the water up, the steam condenses and turns it back into a liquid, and this is the water that we use for our experiments. The dispenser is a large container behind the microwave, and that's where you can refill up your individual water distilled containers. There's two sinks here. I just want to remind you that only one of them is a sink. The other one is hooked up to this cable here that was the old water distiller. So please do not use the sink with the bucket on it. Next to the sinks, you will find the test tube racks. This is where you can put your clean wash test tubes, and also your beakers and any flasks that need to dry. For the smaller sinks, we have these dish racks. I do expect you to keep your dishes clean and maintain dish rack organization. For those labs that require lab safety goggles and aprons, your lab goggles are located in this cabinet and your aprons are located on this rack here. There are 3 fire blankets located in the classroom. The middle one is right here and it's labeled by its packaging. The other two fire blankets are located on the other lab counters adjacent to them. They do not have labels, but they are represented by the same orange color. This is the emergency shower in case you need to rinse off any chemicals that have spilled onto your person. It is operated by slipping into the shower, gently and steadily pull down the large ring, and the water will come pouring down out of the shower head. If you have an emergency where you get chemicals in your eye, the eye wash is located right below it. You can operate it by pushing on this lever against the wall. The water will come shooting out of the faucets into your eyes. It is recommended that at least 10 to 15 minutes of a chemical flush for your eyes. In the event of a fire drill or actual fire, the fire alarms will ring and we will have to exit the building. It is my responsibility or the substitute teacher's responsibility to grab the emergency incident response blue bag. The evacuation route for any classroom on campus can be located at your nearest exit. Once we have exited the classroom, we are to proceed to the nearest stairwell, which is adjacent to the C205 classroom. We're going to walk along the C building walkway to the parking lot using a steady and quick speed, but no running. At the end of the walkway, we're going to proceed this way towards the parking lot using the walkway and then exiting at the crosswalk. To the crosswalk, we're going to proceed parking lots for a designated fire drill zone. That is parking stall number 91 and 92. 91 and 92. Once we reach our designated stall numbers 91 and 92, I will be taking attendance. It is your responsibility to be present and respond to when I call your name. Otherwise, you'll be marked as absent for the day. We need to stay here and wait patiently for the all clear sign. Once that is given, then we may proceed back to the classroom in the same manner that we have walked down here. So make sure to use the crosswalk and use the sidewalks. Do not cut through the parking lot. In the event that we do have a lockdown drill or an actual lockdown event, the alarms will go off. There will be an announcement over the PA system and we will be under a lockdown. So the protocol for that is I will step outside, look around to see if there's anybody in the immediate area. If there is, I will ask them to please join us in the classroom and then we will proceed to lock the doors. We will also turn off the lights and close the windows. It is our goal to project an image of an unoccupied classroom so that we are not targets. I do ask that in the event of a lockdown that you stay off your electronic devices and keep them on silent, especially if you don't want them ringing when you're trying to project an image of an unoccupied classroom. If it's just for a few minutes, you just sit tight, relax, wait for the drill to be over, or if it is an extended lockdown, I will be checking my computer for messages from the admin, giving us further instructions on what we should be able to do. And that's all we have for lockdown. In the event of an earthquake, especially in a large earthquake, it is procedure to protect ourselves from falling objects and falling debris all along the shelves. So that I'm going to ask you to remain in the center of the classroom, and if there is tile or lighting fixtures that seem to be loose and about to fall, you are to proceed to hide and cover yourselves under the desk and tabletops. And just be calm and just wait for the earthquake to ride out. That's all.